education and even not in education, being a parent, it's just heartbreaking, and it speaks to the right now of what we do. And when I think about all the providers, thank you for Dr. White for the beautiful plan that you put together. And we hate that you have to do it, but boy, do we glad that we have the resources that you can make sure that happens. But even now, I'm gonna be honest, I was thinking, do I send something even to our school? Because I thought trauma affects people differently. So if a kid watches that, hears that, we might, just because it didn't happen in Woodland Hills, just because it didn't happen in Clairton, doesn't mean I'm impacted, and it's in Georgia. So just something to just be mindful of and be prayerful of as we go through our day.
And I think what might really traumatize kids everywhere is that the shooter was 13 years old.
For that,
14.
he's 14.
14.
Yep, 14, yes,
And that
yes,
can give them a new level of fear.
yes.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Terry is doing Terry Berry stuff, so I get to run this, and so, and most of that I handed over to you, right?
Yep.
Public contact, announcements.
We have a few announcements tonight. Some are discussions, some will become voting items this month. The first are, we are holding another college and career fair at our high school September 26, 2024. It's gonna start early, 8:15 to noon. Dr. Wilson did send an invite out to several neighboring school districts that we'd like them to participate. Board members, if you're available that day, we will have the folks from the DOD here to talk about the STEM program. It'd be great to meet them in person. So, which is with the idea that drove us having this college and career fair. So thank you, Mr. Boone, because he's doing a lot of work pulling this together.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Dr. Shelley Mans, and we will congratulate We will congratulate her also at the agenda meeting. She successfully defended her dissertation at Point Park yesterday. So to be a high school principal and do that at the same time is just truly amazing. It's like having two jobs, for sure. The protocols, we talked about this in the letter that we sent to all parents, and we also sent this to social media, and the news even covered it. But our new protocols for our ticketed home athletic events, some of them aren't ticketed, and that's why we say that. We have people that call and ask, what about soccer games? We don't ticket those events. So these are just for the ticketed events. Student tickets are only going to be sold in school. Middle school and high school students will only be allowed entry with a student ticket and an ID. We have IDs. The large batch will be out tomorrow. The small batch of people that we didn't have in Power School will be here Friday. We also ordered it as part of our yearbook package, but we all know students are gonna lose IDs, right? So they're gonna have two, which is good, because they'll lose one or the other. Yes, your question?
I have heard this for years and years, because they could have barcoded their ID for attendance, and I would always get told, they're going to lose it, and I would say, but you're going to put it behind your X $1,000 car, and it has to have its driver's license, so they can learn to start keeping things. That's my thought.
I would love to,
Yeah.
the way they don't ever leave their cell phone home, right? So have a lanyard with your ID, because we can do lunch that way, we can do entry into games.
Yes.
We can have real-time data, who's there, who's not there, every time they left. So this is the first step, to get the IDs. Then we're gonna give Mr. Roth another task. Okay, sir?
When you go to college football games, they scan your ticket in with a barcode scan.
Yeah, well, we do that now. We have all electronic ticketing at games, but it's just not from our IDs. You still have to log into the site.
I will name that, that was actually one of the first things Dr. Castagna asked about in 2022 was barcoding, and Strawbridge said, no, we can't do that, it's impossible. It is not a subject that we have broached yet with Barksdale, but the IDs, the examples that they sent have barcodes on them, so I feel more confident that we could make that happen with them than we could with the old folks, but we have not asked them as of yet.
Will this accommodate kids that already bought a pass?
A season pass?
Yeah, a season pass.
Yeah, they just have to show the right.
Yeah,
Okay.
they just, yeah.
Okay.
That's
That
correct.
was a question online, sir.
Football games will begin promptly at 7:00 p.m. This is on us. Sometimes we don't start right at 7. Now, we had a rain delay last week, which did not help, right, with a large crowd like that. But, you know, there's times our pregame runs over. That's over now. We're gonna have a kicker touching the toe on a ball at 7. New clear bag, no bag procedure, I think makes sense. A lot of schools have reached out to me that they are gonna adopt that as well. Talked to Plum today, they're gonna adopt that. All spectators must be seated or moving towards a seat. This is something that's always a struggle for us. But again, we think if we reiterate it to parents, the principals make these announcements in lunches and the buildings during the day, and we approach them, they've already heard this now 3-4 times already in the week. So it shouldn't be so much of an argument. Adults do a lot of this as well, standing around in areas where we don't want them to congregate. We ask them to move, and then they immediately go right back to where they were standing. So hopefully this clears some of that up. Okay, so we're talking, there's a exception for the no bag, clear bag policy. What type of bags? We are not limiting size like they do when you go to a Steeler game. It just has to be clear or leave it at home. I think that's all, and that's all for our announcements. Any questions about that
No, thank
policy?
you. No, thank you. That was, again, one of those unfortunate things that trigger us to move in ways that we wish we didn't have to.
And I think to your opening comments, right, anytime a school shooting happens or an incident like we had Friday, it's that jolt to all of us because we live it, right? And you can't imagine experiencing that, right? It's just real to us because we are in those situations with kids. So it's a reminder of all of our protocols, because you could have all the protocols in place and the staff leaves the door open in the back. You could have all the protocols in place and somebody's friend comes to a game and they let them around the metal detector or whatever. There's so many instances of that. So it reminds us we all play a role.
Yes.
And the biggest role our parents can play is just to listen. Because you'll hear things, you'll see things that are creepy, that bothers you, that was a little bit off.
Yes.
You know, report it, tell us. Because really, getting ahead of these things can stop disasters. We all know that, so.
I do have a question in regards to like the game. Can we just make sure we have adequate security as well, especially when it's more of those rival games, like, I don't know what the rivals are, if it's Plum. I'm just gonna speak back into my old past.
It's not Plum, I can tell you that. It ain't Plum.
Yeah, no, it's like Plum.
It's Penn Hills.
But if it was,
It's not Armstrong.
It's not. Not New Canton.
We won't say it, but we'll just eliminate the other one.
but for those that are more of the ones we know are gonna draw a bigger crowd, to just ensure we have enough security, because maybe that could have been, it's not a loophole, it's just an opportunity for growth. And we know we have these huge crowds and we have a lot of people to control and a lot of people that we need to say, hey, make sure you're sitting, or something's happening, please don't run toward one exit. It's just making sure the security is really in place and check the tickets and not letting them in because, oh, that's my cousin, oh, come on, girl, or, oh, I know who you is, you can come in, I ain't gotta scan you. Like, just make sure we're really safe and tight there. And I'm just saying, more we know we're gonna have those larger crowds because you're gonna start doing those tickets online and you're gonna see those numbers jump up and you're gonna say, oh, this game only has 100 people. Oh, this one's gonna be 500, so we don't need that many here, but we're gonna need more here. Like, just for us to gauge that a little better.
I will be very honest in this conversation that this board has been critical of our cost of security.
Exactly.
And so we've tried to minimize that. The problem is the local police don't work games, okay?
Right.
And I had that conversation with the board, like, if I can't count on our police, then I have to have security. So we did cut it back to 21 officers for the showcase at the Wolverina. We tested it to see how it would go, because that was, Keysport came to town, Clareton came to town, Wood Hills came to town, Central Catholic brought a crowd,
Yep.
you know,
It was-
Westinghouse brought a crowd, so, the whole, and it was okay, it was manageable, but it's not the best. Now, I'll be honest with you, I scrapped that. I went right back, I said, we have to incur the expense, we're going back to 34 guards. We just have to know that as a board, that's gonna be a discussion that comes
Well,
up.
do we think this is an opportunity considering what just happened to go back to Charter Creek and say, hey, we want to ensure everybody's protected? We do need crowds, we need police to dictate the cars. Like, there's a lot that they should probably want to offer, because it happened in their town, in their borough, like they have.
So we met with, well, obviously that night, we met with
Exactly.
every law enforcement officer in Pennsylvania. It was the largest police response in Allegheny County history.
Yeah.
So, there was some bad information that went over the police scanner radios that caused, overreaction in a lot of ways. I hate to say it, but it's true. And so we met with Turtle Creek Police here. Chief was very honest with us and said, I don't have the manpower to staff it. A lot of police departments don't like if you use outside police, right? Because that's their overtime and their territory. He said to us, if you can contract other police, do it. So we contracted 4 officers from Pitcairn and 4 from the county. They're gonna work the game Friday night. 2 Turtle Creek police officers will be there, but we're gonna focus on the top of the bleachers with an armed officer up there. We're gonna focus on our student section. Again, we were ready to shelter in place. I gotta be honest. I felt, as hectic as it was, there was a moment where we had control and had a plan, and then the police radio went haywire. And they were coming from all directions, and that's what just went out of control. So, with these protocols, we have radios now, press box, cheerleading coach, band sponsor, sidelines, all security, police, we have 50 radios now. I'm gonna have one on me, we're gonna hit all the channels, everyone's gonna know exactly, when we give a word, it's gonna, you're gonna get that. We took trees down that were impeding some of the sight line of our cameras, they're gone. I sent Danny a text Monday, and Tuesday morning, he had the trees gone, tarps ordered, temporary fencing around the parking lot. Every recommendation, the police told me Friday night, we met Monday, and Mama had it done Tuesday. So,
And one of the things that our students brought up, so when we met with the students, one of the things that.
told you, keep
Okay.
it moving, you're golden.
that's it.
One of the things the students brought up that I thought was actually pretty good was they talked about, they had really honest conversations. Anissa from TCV did a wonderful job. Coach Cal met with the football team today. But one of the things that was basically brought up was, they would like to practice drills, like emergency drills that we teach them during the school day, practice those on the field, because it was a real thing. Like, they were like, we don't know, like, we were all kind of panicking, didn't know where to go. And then they talked about having sticking together as a team. Make sure, captains, where your teammates are. So these were some of the discussions that came out of those conversations with the kids. But the kids were very thoughtful, and they gave great feedback on what can be done moving forward. So
Remind them of that next time there's a fire drill.
how important it is, right?
Because
How
teachers
important
are
it is.
just trying to, you walk out with your roster and you're trying to find all these kids, and this one's
Especially at
wandered
the high
off.
school, they all stay
Yeah.
together,
And
right?
Yeah.
you can
Not
remind
mention they
it,
all stand
there's
in
the
line.
start, there's the start, we need to find you. And I also, to what you said, Danica, I think our police sometimes only see the worst in kids. And they're not looking for the best, and if you get 100 kids, 2 of them might be not the best, but you've got to remember there's 98 other kids that are there to have a good time.
Yes.
Well, and Friday was old Woody High. Like, we ain't seen Woody High like that in years. Like, even last year, we know Penn Hills. Like last year, even when we played Penn Hills last year, it didn't bring that crowd. So I don't know if it was because it was the holiday weekend, but yeah, like I don't. It was old Woody High.
A lot of
Yeah.
those kids came.
So
And it was an off day.
We're here to have fun, we need to remember
Yes.
that, protect them all.
yeah.
So I feel great about this Friday,
I do
Central
too.
Catholic game at home.
Yes.
And so
Every school.
it's a great time to get a win and hopefully get a win and go through the night without any incident, and everyone's gonna feel good, so that's what we're hoping for.
So after the game, as we know, it's gonna go well, can we at least celebrate that next week to say, with these new protocols, and we will save.
Yes, ma'am.
I think if we can start to turn the narrative, because unfortunately, it doesn't matter that it happened in Turtle Creek, every news outlet said Woodland Hills.
Yes. Yeah.
Woodland Hills. So on Facebook, all you see, that's why I'm saying my kid is Woodland Hills. It wasn't really Woodland Hills.
Right.
It was the area.
Right.
So we can
It
start
wasn't even
to
our
turn,
students,
we
right?
can turn the narrative to say, oh.
And it wasn't Penn Hill
Woodland
students
is doing
either. I mean,
this,
that
Woodland
needs to be
Hills is
said.
doing that. I think it's gonna, because unfortunately, it's a dark cloud. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter where, you seen it, I seen it on Yahoo. I said, oh, they're gone.
Yo.
It was Yahoo News, yeah.
Wow.
They
Wow.
tuck it in the back of their mind, I don't know where they're
It is, exactly, they just see the two
Wow.
things, Woodland Hills, but if we can go through this week and it's successful and we can say that things are great and we start to push that out, like we put these in here, we heard your concerns, we care about your kids, we care about our families, and look, we had no incidents, like, if we can push that narrative out, I think.
So I had 47 emails from news It's why I pushed out a statement at midnight, because the stories were outlandish,
Yeah,
right?
they were right.
But I tell you what I said to all of them on Saturday, once I gathered my thoughts, I said, we are making changes. I would love to do a story Friday about the upcoming changes we have. And then when the game's a success, we can talk about how it worked. And two of them responded back that they would, so.
Oh, good.
It wasn't CNN
It wasn't number two. It wasn't number two.
Was it Yahoo?
It wasn't Yahoo. But again, I mean, but to your point, yes, I agree with you. We gotta celebrate it because, we all, were bothered by, what happened and we lived to try to prevent things like that. But the team came out. Lee Davis came out, Calvin Murphy came out, Kathy came out. I mean, we called a meeting on Labor Day Monday and 30 people showed up and said, we gotta fix this. So we have the right team in place to make it better.
Presentation STS, I have don't.
There, that is our sub-service.
Substitute
yay.
teaching
So
services.
go ahead, Angel, sorry.
Oh, so thank you. So Mr. J.R. Goodwin is on. He is the president, CEO of the STS, which is Substitute Teaching Service. He's going to be updating us, and well, mainly the board, because I talk with them on a daily basis, in regards to the recruiting efforts. As you know, you voted last February to bring them on for the 24-25 school year. Started off a bit rocky, had some bumps, but he would like to update the board in terms of what they're doing, the recruiting efforts, and how far we've come just 2 weeks into the school year. So with that, Mr. Goodwin?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I will not take up too much of your time. Kind of want to give everyone an update so that our communication is clear between, we've been working extensively with Angel and her team, and kind of wanted to give you all clear push on where we are. We obviously this summer started our advertising campaign for Woodland Hills specifically. We had our TV ads, which ran on maybe 15 different TV stations throughout the county. Those completed, I believe, during the holiday weekend. We have updated all of our Indeed postings specifically for Woodland Hills and narrowing down on the many different facets that we'll be handling, including building substitutes, day-to-day substitutes, long-term assignments, paraprofessionals, things of that nature. We actually had to have a meeting with Indeed because in the beginning of the month, the first chunk of that first week and a half, we weren't getting many hits. So we actually had to revamp those advertisements to be more specific and different wording on buzzwords and things like that, which we then utilized, across all of our orders. So with those, I can kind of get into analytics and a little bit of how those are progressing. We've also given PDF flyers for all the different positions, including like your student teachers, substitute teachers, long terms, things like that, all of the different facets that can be shared on social media that we are also sharing on social media to try to gain, a new foothold and gain new viewers and things like that. We also partnered with EdgeClick. I don't know if you guys know, but EdgeClick is the provider of your website, and it has advertising at the top of the website. So STS is on there. If they click that, anything on that banner goes directly to the landing page that we have for Woodland Hills to gain new substitutes. Okay, so currently right now, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm a little disappointed in our performance thus far. 56.72% for the first 2.5 weeks of school is not where I wanted to be to start the school year. And that's kind of why earlier this week, I offered myself out to speak to that. Currently, where we are, we have 9 certified substitutes in the substitute pool, an additional 5 that are guest teachers, those holding a 4-year degree that have either gone through the STS guest teacher training or gotten a type 6 cert, and then 3 substitute aides. So overall, 17. We do have a few building substitute positions filled. We do not have any filled in the secondary. So out of the 15 or 13 that were allocated, I have 4 filled and I have 9 unfilled. Again, once again, not where I want to be. And we are continuing our efforts, and our HR team and our HR recruiter is working with our any candidates in the pool to ensure that even if they're not very good with a computer, we meet up with them in person so that they can do a paper application. We really want to make sure that we're not losing anyone who may be a recently retired person or somebody who's just not doesn't have access to a laptop, things like that, to exclude them from being able to work as a substitute with STS and in Woodland Hills. So the Indeed ads, since we've tweaked the Indeed ads, we've had 27 respondents to them. They've all been contacted directly by either Jenny Silva, who's your direct liaison for customer service between Angel as well as the building principals and secretaries, and our HR representative in your area is Robin, who actually meets with all of the candidates to make sure we have all the correct documentation in. Also, Angel and her team was kind enough to send over any applicant and resume that was received by the district and maybe wasn't hired for a direct position with the district in a long-term capacity or full-time. We have 86 of those applicants. All of them have been reached out to via email, as well as phone calls, hand calls, to try to activate those and, get them pursuant to work in Woodland Hills. As I hate to say it, the carrot dangling of if you do well in the district, the principals know you, they talk to HR when a position comes open, it's certainly a viable option for them. Well, in the next between late September and early October, we have a few job fairs that we will be going to. These are the universities. Robert Morris University in late September, IUP Career Expo in early October, West PAX Collegiate Career Fair, that's a very big one. That really pulls in probably 20 different universities in the area from almost Erie kind of down all the way through the Pittsburgh region. And then Slippery Rock has an education expo in mid-October as well. So in an effort of all of our processes as for the online advertisements, TV and things like that, we're also trying to activate anyone new who may be graduating maybe in the December area, things like that, and they're thinking about jobs when they graduate, to try to activate them in understanding that we have these opportunities available for you. Yeah, that was I have slides of everything that I just talked about, and Angel, I'll send, by tomorrow morning, I'll send you all these slides in a PDF so that everyone on the board can have access to it. Our team has been working with Angel to make sure that everyone is in the know, and we have updated Google Docs and things like that that are going to be updated every Friday so that there's never an instance of not knowing where we stand with potential candidates and things like that moving forward. So also on that PDF, we'll have all of my contact information in case anyone from the board has any questions, concerns, things like that moving forward. We are an open book, and I really want to ensure that we are communicating with you every avenue that we are taking to ensure that there's no stone left unturned to get new candidates in the doors for Woodland.
This is one of the board members. I have two questions. The first one, my name is Ms. Arthurell. I have two questions. The first one is, and we're talking about the elephant in the room. Do you make sure that people understand that we are not what the news portrays us to be?
That is an excellent question. We have not yet. And I think that might be extremely valid.
I think it's real important that they understand that we've got a lot of support systems, our faculty, and that they should not just base their opinion about Woodland Hills on what you see, especially on WTA.
Yeah, especially.
Understood. And in sitting here for the last few minutes talking about the incident over the weekend and everything like that, I can see that there is understanding, caring, and you know, you guys are willing to make changes to make things better for everybody there. So understood, and I will work with my team on that so that we can kind of convey that message out for sure.
They're gonna cut up if there's a sub, but at least they have to understand it's normal, it's cutting up. Because that's what
That's
they,
anywhere though.
that's
That's
it.
not just here.
Question two though, you said that you work with, you said EdgeClick, but we're powered by Edleo, am I missing something?
EdgeClick's an advertising firm.
An advertising firm, so it's not really on our website, and we all went to find it.
The banners.
The banner.
The banner.
Oh, the banners.
That stuff.
It rotates with other advertisements.
I gotcha.
So STS will come up and something else is there.
I got you. That, see, there's always a quick, oh, look at that, it comes right up for something to do. Job.
Yes, it's working. If I had to tell you to refresh 20 times, I don't think that would have gone very well for me. So thank you.
One's gonna say something nasty to me, and I'll say something cranky back, and then they'll tell me to leave.
No, ma'am, not my, no. I know better.
I'm a retired teacher, they're just messing with me. That was my
No, we're
question.
not.
No, that's.
Does anybody else have a question anybody over here?
I just want to be respectful. I know there's certain things we can't talk about, so can we put that on the executive session
For
for,
the subs?
so, yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
And then once we see the PowerPoint, I'll send you an email with a question. Because I keep saying numbers, and I'm like.
Ladies and gentlemen, too, I have no problem hopping in onto an executive session if you would need to, if you have issues and things like that. I want to provide as much information as humanly possible so that you guys can make the right decisions for the district as well as the students. So I'm at your disposal. Just don't call after 10 o'clock. I do eventually try to go to sleep.
No, that's when we go in exec. So we will have a discussion next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And if we
I'll
need
set it
you,
up.
just have your cell phone. If we have questions for you, we'll reach out.
Consider it done.
Mr. Gordon, I just want to say thank you very much for everything. Definitely better than it has been. Working, like, I feel much better. And I know that the teachers appreciate it. Thank you.
Sarah, that cut out for me. I hope it was a compliment to Angel and everything she's done.
Just thank you.
I didn't hear, like, as soon as you started talking, I didn't hear any of it, so I apologize. I hope it was all good stuff. Everybody seemed to be smiling, so that's positive.
Not everything?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jared. I'll be in touch with you tomorrow or Friday.
Lovely. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful evening.
Mr. Wilson? Dr. Wilson.
Hey.
Sorry, Dr. Wilson.
I like when other people correct themselves. I don't ever correct.
Sorry, brain fart. I want to say that. 4.1 to 7, so you may begin.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, mine are a lot simpler than they look. For curriculum 4.1 through 4.5 are the same agreements, just with different vendors. When we receive federal money, we are required to allocate a percentage of that funding to non-public schools. So our parochial schools, our Catholic schools, and then any of our private schools that have students who live in our geographical region, but then go to those schools. We do not give those schools money directly. They are not allowed to accept money directly from us, and we are not allowed to give them a check. We have to vet the vendors that they say they want to partner with to offer remediation specifically to students that live in our geography. So all 5 of these are vendors that we've used in the past, or that they've used in the past, that we've vetted. And so we have to sign a contract with their vendors to say, yes, you can bill us for up to this amount of money for hours that you spend with students. The amount of complexity that the federal government puts in for use of Title I, 2A, and 4 funds regarding non-publics is a little bit ridiculous, but that is what we have to do. So 4.1 through 4.5 are asking for the same thing. The first one is for the Allegheny Intermediate Unit. The second one is for catapult learning. The third one is for Pittsburgh Mount Oliver Intermediate Unit. The fourth one is for Sound Foundation Reading Instruction. And the fifth one is for the Midwestern Intermediate Unit, all to provide tutoring services for students who live in our geographical region but attend non-local. Answer any questions on those? Okay. 4.6 is Ms. Rzuski's favorite tab of the year.
Always my favorite.
I'm glad you shot. I was worried when the chair was empty coming in. This is the one she likes the most.
It's so great.
We are again asking the board permission to allocate $5,000 per school for all of our K-8 schools, so that every scholar can receive one book from the Scholastic Book Fair. Again, this means that our scholars don't have to go to the book fair and sit inside because they don't have the funding to take home the book. It also means that our scholars all get books to take home. And everybody that's heard me talk about research and data knows that most research says if you want kids to love reading, put books in their hands as early as possible. So we are excited to do that. There are not many tabs that I pass each year that don't get, some kind of flack, but teachers, parents, everybody loves this one. My wife says thank you, teachers call and say thank you, board members love it. It doesn't happen often.
It makes it easier for us parents when we can't come home and say it's book fair day. Greatly appreciate it.
I would also like to name, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'd be remiss if I didn't also name that our PTOs, our librarians, our educators, and many of our parents, community members, and community organizations, ever since we started this in 2021, have come together to get more books that can be given away at the Scholastic Book Fair. Every single book fair has a separate section of peruse these books and take them home. Our high school library has entire shelves of books. These books are free for you to take home. And I'm not talking about, the books that have been, ratty and torn. These are mostly brand new books that our scholars are able to take home. It's a big, big deal. And our educators, our librarians, our administrators go through the process of going through them, making sure they're appropriate, age appropriate, all those things. So it's been a really, really big success. Any other questions on that one? Okay, and then 4.7, again, I'm hoping is a cheerful one, a happy one. We are partnering again with Pittsburgh Penguins. I know Ms. Arthurell was very excited about this last year. The Penguins and U.S. Steel have a Reading Champions program. Many of the other districts in the area have been a part of Reading Champions for a while. We only got into it last year. It's a really great program. Every third grade classroom in the district is part of it. We kind of dreamed big last year, and we asked if they could expand it to all elementary. They are very focused on third grade, because that's where we stop learning to read and start reading to learn. So it's very much focused on third grade classrooms. But we had a great experience last year. All third graders last year received free tickets. Penguins game, the Penguin, whatever the mascot is for the Penguins. Sorry, I don't know sports ball. There you go. Iceberg came into a couple of classrooms. Every third grade scholar got memorabilia and merchandise. It's a really great program, and again, gets kids excited to learn to read. It is very similar to the Pizza Hut program that any of us raised in the 90s.
My favorite program.
Now, instead of getting your little ticket for a free personal pizza, you get to meet Iceberg and you get a ticket to a Penguins game. So they kind of stepped up the ball game on it.
I don't think it went away. Pizza?
I cannot answer questions about the pizza one. I'm just saying the Penguins one is even better than the little 6-inch I don't even know if there's a Pizza Hut nearby, you know what?
Right around the corner from me, right in White Oak, one in White Oak, one in Red Hill.
It's a great program. Any questions on curriculum instruction?
Thank you. Dr. Wilson.
Thank you.
Special education.
Yes, so, I am seeking approval for the board to accept, a service agreement, sorry, with the Westmoreland Intermediate Unit. And what this is, they also provide supports, for our students who, I believe that's like Clearfield County School District up that way. We do have one student that attends there, and the student receives autistic support and speech and language support. And the district only gets charged for the services that are provided. So, if he or she would end up to have, be dismissed from speech and language, then we would no longer be charged for that service. And that's it.
Technology.
8.1, just have one today. We're asking for approval for the registration travel costs for two of our technology folks, Dylan Martin and John Kim. John Kim's actually going to go as presenter, so his conference costs have been waived, so he's paying for his travel expenses. And they're going to be going to the Brainstorm K20 Technology Conference in Poconos from November 17th to the 19th, and that's going to cost $2,332. Any questions?
What is Mr. Kim gonna be presenting about?
I'm sorry.
What is Mr. Kim gonna present about?
Well, that's an interesting question, because I didn't even get a chance to talk to him about that yet. But last year, we presented, we had a new telephone system, and we talked to tech records from all over the state about our new telephone system. So I imagine it's something along those lines. I'll find out for next week.
Okay, good.
Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for, building superintendent.
Seeking approval for anything at this point, but 11.1, Shaker Elementary demolition. I received one of my first quotes today from Mealy's, one of our neighbors in Rankin. One of my things I profess all the time is try to keep the money within the district. They pay district taxes. They're a damn near $1 billion company. They're going to pay us back some money. We're going to get some dividends back. So I'm expecting 2 more proposals tomorrow, and if all goes well, we'd like to put that on the agenda for next week to possibly be voted for in a couple weeks to get that building down, get the eyesore down, the safety hazard, and going forward with possibly either selling the land or doing something ourselves on the land. So I have this proposal for Mealy. The big cost of this is asbestos removal. The building is hot. It's like hot. It's very hot. Okay, so that's
Harder than Edgewood on Oklahoma.
about that hot.
That was pretty hot.
Not that hot. Not that
That
hot.
was a lovely experience.
So this includes up into asbestos abatement, the chain link fence, all the concrete. They're going to use some of the debris, like the clean debris, to fill the hole back in. So we're not importing dirt and what have you from the foundry or the quarry, the gravel quarry. And basically, it's just going to be a level lot. It's going to be all new grass. It's going to get soil erosion control is being put in because you have to figure it's on a knoll up there. And water's going to run down to Thornberry and Stevendale and Eola Road if you don't do something to have the water leach through the earth rather than just shed over the top of the earth. So I mean, it's right now. This is the first proposal, and Doc asked me what I thought, and I told him $750,000, and it came in so far at $683,531. The other 2 proposals will be here tomorrow. I'm really hoping Mealy is the lowest. Because like I said before, the neighbors like to support every business, large or small, if they're in the district, being a taxpayer, that's what I want to work for me. So, any questions on the demolition?
Keep in mind too that the insurance company's bringing down.
I forgot about that.
I'm curious, my question, like,
They wanna
so
bring it
take
down
that on
here.
a Friday, can we go to the insurance company, be like,
Oh,
I put them off for a month and,
We're trying to.
probably tearing it down and, because they wanna come in and do an inspection. It's just not gonna go well, like, that's not gonna go well.
We don't know what to do. I'm sorry, I forgot to touch on that.
I only have one question. Mine is, I see the total price, but you see how they're like in sections 225, like is there a summary of the price? Like that just says 683,000, like what? Does that really mean? Am I missing it
You
somewhere?
got this as well?
You click on it.
No, it's not, so under demolition, for example, if you look at demolition,
Okay.
I would say for all of demolition, okay, that's $250,000. For erosion, that's 100, I don't see where the 683,000 is. Like, what?
like asbestos abatement costs this much.
And not every, there's like 50
Yeah.
lines, I'm not saying every single line, but
You see
At
this is demolition 200 and then erosion 215.
yes, I see,
the.
but that's not the price.
Oh, you want, oh, I see.
You see, I mean,
that's
cause
what I thought too.
what does it mean to say 683,000 for 24 items?
Got you.
That's basically what it is. I mean, I could have them come in next week, and talk on that.
Even if you, first you could just ask, do you have it by your section numbers, like, is there a total?
Yeah, they could just put prices to phases,
Say, like,
right?
demolition, how much does that cost? Or
Asbestos
how much is-
abatement, 1, demolition, 2, and then the backfill, whatever it is, 3.
Yes,
We even
like
broke
that.
it down like that.
Not line by line, I'm not, definitely not asking line by line, but that's a lot of money just to say, it's just everything for 683,000. So that even when we're looking at other bids, we can say, oh, we really got a better deal because abatement was, asbestos was this year, but right now we don't even know what we would be really comparing.
This, I have a question that is just really infuriating out of curiosity. So does Millie have their own asbestos abatement?
That's contract.
Okay, so they would be able to get a real price for that too, so.
That's part of this whole
Yep.
package, but you want it broke down a little bit more. Okay, I can handle that.
Thank you.
That's not a problem at all.
Mhm.
And then, 11.2 is just to talk on, Edgewood's HVAC and phase 1 updates. We've been meeting every week or two between the different contractors. Train is supposedly gonna start. Okay. The work has been started. The electrical, requirements for different units and whatnot. All the conduits have been in place being pulled, and there's been some panels put in, electrical boxes added, circuit breakers and things of that nature. Pulled all through that building. They've been working. So the power will be in place, but when they set the unit down, hook it up, boom, you're up and running. But you know, there's still the chain or supply chain issue we all know. And they're gonna be piecemealing it together. They're gonna do what they have, they're gonna put that together while they can, and they're gonna move here. It's gonna be staggered. It's gonna be painstaking. And we all know that. We've spoken on that so many times about how painstaking it's gonna be and has already been. But the end result's gonna be, what we all want. Yes. So I talked to Jeff Miller today. He was the gentleman here that sat with me a couple weeks back, along with Bill Gordon. And Jeff and me are in contact almost every day. He's in contact with Ms. Mans every day, Kelly Mann, and gives us updates on, we're projecting to do this today, but this ended up being a problem. And getting rooms moved around and staging all your stuff. You know how small the campus is. So once they start really ripping into it, we all know how small a campus is. So we're moving forward with HVAC as quickly as possible. They're being real honest, they're very upfront with me. And I sat here and told you that I have faith in these gentlemen, I really do, and it's not just blood stuff, right? I've actually took them to look at this project years before I even started in this position. I was the liaison to take them and show them all the things within the building so that they could put the bids together. All of them. So on the construction side, we're done with HVAC. Any more questions about HVAC other than what's already been spoken on? Okay, so we had a rumor the other day because, people like to start rumors that there was no workers on the job. So I personally drove over there and witnessed the men, took pictures, sent them to Dr. Castagna, people on scaffolds, people on JLG lists. They don't see one person working on the far end of our small campus, corner building, they just assume nobody's there. They see the work trucks, the superintendent was on the job, the foreman for the masonry company was on the job. Things are in motion. These companies want to get this work done and get paid as quickly as
Get to the next job, right?
They want paid. They don't want this long, drawn-out process for
Yes.
any one of the phases. They just want to get it done, hammer it out, and walk away. And so, speaking on that, we have the fifth package to still get approved, which would be the man trap vestibule, where somebody would come in, security can interview them, take their ID, scan them in the machine, and make sure that they don't have worn out or whatever. We don't want them in our building. So that package is still being put together. We filed for permitting, which is another rumor that we haven't filed for any permitting. We have documentation that all permitting's been filed for, and then the borough said, well, they didn't sign nothing to the inspector agency. That's totally false. We've clarified that in recent times, in the last couple of days actually. But the fifth package will come out, and I'll be asking for approval for that. And then for the packages, for the ceiling, for the auditorium, for all the classrooms and all the interior renovations, we're going to try to have all those packages bid by 3 separate contractors for each one of the packages and have those presented before the end of the year so that those can also be approved by all you great people here.
I don't accept it.
And Danny's, in the meeting with him yesterday, his point to them was, we get it in front of the board early, it's time to review it, approve it, and then we go into the spring knowing this is all done, the permit is done, get to work. We were kind of behind. We started this in June because we approved the project late. So phase 1, is that fifth vestibule? Is that the last package of phase 1?
Correct.
Okay, so once that's board approved, we start working on phase 2. See, Danny talks, everybody comes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Athletics, is there a representative here from athletics?
So I'm gonna cover this part for time. I told all the administrators and them to stay home. Everybody had a long weekend. It's been a busy week. I said, don't worry about it. The one thing he's asking for 2 Wednesdays from now will be an approval with Huddle. If you have any student athletes, you know that they use this Huddle to make their own tapes. It records every game, stores in the database, a lot of college recruiters. It's a 3-year agreement, it's about $9,000 per year. And this is a continuation of a package we already have. The next item is just an announcement. This Friday night at the Central Catholic game, I believe at the end of the first quarter, Julian and Tamir will be accepting a donation from U.S. Steel towards our weight room project at the high school. This was something that a former NFL player years ago committed to donating to, and something happened, it didn't work out. So Tamir's title is Director of Athletics, Activities, and Sponsorships, because our goal was to get him out there and seek sponsorships. So I will tell you, Friday, we're gonna get $200,000, but that's only gonna be 1 of 3 checks coming. They have the entire project paid. Julie went out there and made some strong connections. So US Steel, we have an inked signature. We're gonna do a formal presentation to accept that at the game Friday night for $200,000. And there's 2 more coming, but when I get it inked, we'll do it. So it's very nice. And what's gonna be really key for us is we update that space that all student athletes use and other students use, because there's a weight room and there's a huge other room used for agility training and so on. Not only that will be updated, then the old equipment we can take to the Wolf Arena, and we can get the football team, they don't have to work out, they can leave right after school, get to the Wolf Arena, lift and practice, instead of lifting, hanging around, trying to get the move. So it's, and we're not paying for it. So that's great. I think it's their mission to have their first donation check be $200,000 is pretty impressive. And I think it's gonna wake up some alumni. Say, hey, look at this, what some people are doing, because there are 2 other phases to this that are gonna be pretty popular as well. So excited for them. Any questions about 12-1 back to the alumni? My son used.
You gotta sell your own.
Especially with this NIL.
Do you have something to say about the library?
Oh, that's for us. Yeah, but I'm here. We found, I will say this, we found the agreement, okay, that existed years ago. We did some private investigative work. And Dr. Wilson, let me state this, because I wasn't really ready for this question, but
Okay, I
I'm
withdraw
gonna say
my
this.
question.
I'm gonna say this,
I
Mark,
withdraw
you're
my
gonna see why. The agreement was that we would be given the library, okay, in exchange for us being allowed to use the property the West is on for school. So, we get the library and we get permission to use that property. That agreement, we're out of that agreement, and we don't have the library.
Next time you go across the Rankin Bridge, I want you to look straight up at that building and see where the hills slid down.
Can you see?
You can see it, well, it was clearer when it happened.
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt your very important meeting.
What the hell?
That's how sounded.
Yay.
So anybody who wants one, there is one, you're welcome. They're fresh, they're good.
Shout out to Terry's Berries.
Thank you.
you.
Because one of my customers ordered 36.
Wow.
See you later.
Wow. Thank you, ma'am.
Now you too.
Thank you.
There you
No,
go.
I just,
Rankin Legal Matters Department Superintendent.
okay, I will be
There's forks in
asking,
that.
I'll be asking for permission in 2 Wednesdays from now to attend the AIU Superintendent's Professional Learning Workshop. It's in Erie. Their superintendent's gonna be shocked because I haven't gone in years. And they always text me from there where you're at. So
Yes.
I'm gonna join my colleagues for the first time since 2017 and attend. Yeah. There's no cost to the district but the knowledge. Hotels, everything. The next, Eddie and I would like to make this official and ask for formal approval that we host the International Fair scheduled for October 10th with a cost not to exceed $12,000. We don't know exact cost yet. We're reaching out to some of the performers now, especially the Tamarinsons, because I think they're the highlight of that show. And then once we have an actual cost breakdown, we'll bring that back to the board and share it with you. But we definitely won't exceed that. So any questions about 17? Oh,
Actually, meeting with Mr. Chief Paisley tomorrow.
Yeah.
About that.
so we wanted to get it on here tonight, just to talk to the board about it before we blasted it, but it's twofold. One, it's a little business, and there's a resident who is the associate dean, Harper. Paul Harper is, who leads some of the work with these people. And then,
So the ambassador, Her Excellency Monsieur Mame, has, as we did last month, she is dedicated to sponsor the Kent, along with Kent School of Business, our annual international fair. So, we will be bringing some dignitaries to the event in her name and honoring folks there, every year moving forward.
yeah, and I didn't even realize she was graduating from Pitt, but she is going to bring some national dignitaries here to Woodland Hill. So again, it's another positive to get out there to share. So we really appreciate the board's support. Second. And you heard from Rosa, she's a tough one to tell no.
Yes.
So, yeah, she is. Any questions about 1 or 2?
About the international I just, wanted to mention something that I think was maybe a component last year, which was to, try to get the other member schools involved, like students, like, just really push this out into the schools. Say, maybe get an activity or something going, like, this is the country, you know, just make, make some being like, you know, the kindergartners.
Leading up to.
Something, you know.
Sure.
Anyway, or you know, like a hand tree, whatever. Just to get everybody.
And I will say, we are 6 weeks further ahead than we were last year with Atlantis, because literally the kids school students reached out to us about the ambassador visit 15 days and said, can you guys throw a fair together? And we called Rose and was like, let's put it together. So it was like 2 weeks. And then you saw the video of everything. Now, it's a great point, reach out to the elementaries. We've tripled our ESL population, ELL population. So we can reach out to those families.
So that's two things that I just put them on my calendar. We can, board members can make ourselves visible. We can go to the College Victoria Fair, we can go to the International Fair, and, my first year, I was naive and said, ooh, let's have a table at the trunk or treat. And I gamely sat there by myself.
Laura, trust me, I had that same thought. I was like, oh, I wonder if anyone would want to. Nope.
Well, okay, here's the deal with the girls. I am hoping to
It's like
have
a
my
dunk tank without being dunked.
No, I gave up. And, oh no, they're so sweet. And you give them candy and they're just so darling. It's fun. It's wonderful. They're itty bitties. Anyway, but I'm hoping to have surgery in October, so I need this hip. So I'm hoping one of you, or I'll donate candy if anybody wants to do that. But I'll just say, these are really good ways for us to make ourselves visible. I'm your school board representative, so they see us in person.
Oh, wow.
So we're all gonna be, so we're all gonna be, they're gonna be putting us back, all back together. That's Karen, you and me. So,
Yes. No, what's the date of the trunk or treat this year?
October 14th.
Well, I have to be waiting in my house. So is that
Oh, wait, no, it
everything?
can't be the 14th, 14th is Monday.
Probably been the 12th.
Okay, this has been a wonderful meeting. I just want to remind everybody when the board tabs come out tomorrow, they come out tomorrow? Friday. Okay. We did such a great job last time of reading through and asking all of our questions beforehand and emailing them and talking, so that we kept it moving along, because I do appreciate you guys staying late, and I know you all have young kids to get to bed, so I want to keep up the good work. I'm sure Terry would be saying the same thing if he's sitting right here. And so, meeting adjourned. Okay, we did not adjourn.
I do want to take a moment to thank Ms. Boyd, when I went to the Dixie Open House situation about getting into the building. Thank God she was there. She was my saving grace, but she was very nice, very kind. She checked on me to make sure everything was okay, so I do appreciate it. And thank you for just being you.
Thank you.
You're never here, but you're always
Thank you.
here.
Oh, I'm feeling love.
Your day today.
Today
was your day, Ms.
No, I
Boyd.
did. I came out and was like, no, she's a board member. Let her in.
I was like,
Let her in.
I was like,
I was like, let her in.
yes.
There was a slight confusion, but.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I was just-
Just tell her.